Hey guys, it's Mina, your favorite curvy sewist, and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time, welcome. So today I have something really exciting for you. I'm going to show you how to make the quickest skirt you will ever make, ever, I think. So I'm going to share it with you. But before we get started, you know what time it is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn your notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Now let me get into the details of telling you about this super quick and easy skirt. It's beginner friendly, it's last minute friendly, it's whatever you want it to be, but it is easy and it is quick. Let's go. So what do I have for you today? Today I have for you the quickest skirt that I have ever made. This is called an elastic band skirt. You make this skirt basically with a knit or woven fabric. It is beginner friendly. It is something quick and easy that you can make at the last minute. Like I said, you can make it with a knit or a woven fabric. And the best part is all you need is your sewing machine, whatever coordinating thread you want to use, your fabric, and elastic. That is all you need to make the skirt. I kid you not. I have made this skirt. I can't even count on my hand how many times I have made this skirt over the past 20 years. Okay? I normally use a 3-inch wide elastic to make this skirt, but you can use anywhere from 1 inch to 4, 5, 6, whatever inch wide you want to use of fabric. But I normally use the black just because it goes with everything, and 3 inches is kind of my comfort zone with making it so far. I have made it with 1 inch and 2 inch elastic before as well, but that's what I have been. But I've made this skirt for a Christmas occasion. I've made it for casual occasions. I made it for occasion, but I just wanted to look super cute. But the most important part is quick and easy, and it's a fun make. And that's one of my favorite skirts, and I have gotten the most compliments I can ever receive in my life when I wear my elastic band skirts. I don't know what it is about these skirts, but people just love them. They gravitate to them. I love it. But let's get into the details of how we make this skirt so I can show you how it goes. Like I said, all you need is your elastic. It could be a woven or it can be a knit. You need your elastic band. It is an exposed elastic band, meaning you're not going to put it underneath. It's not going to be any casing. The elastic is going to show. It's basically part of your skirt and part of your look. You can get plain black elastic. You can get decorative elastic and make it, and it will be even cuter. I have made this skirt before with a gold elastic on a white skirt, but for some reason I can't find the picture. I wanted to share with you guys, but I don't know where it is. But let's get into the measurements of how you get this done, and then we'll get into how, what fabrics I'm going to use, how I'm going to put it all together. I'm excited to share with you. Let's go. Let's get to the measurements part of this now. Okay, guys, so in order to make this elastic band skirt, there's 2 measurements that's very important. That's your waist measurement and your hip measurement. The first measurement I'm going to take is my hips. So you basically want to take the measurement around the fullest part of your hips so that you can get the right measurement. This measurement is very important, especially if you're a curvy girl like myself, because normally when you make an elastic band skirt, you just say you're going to do this and then you measure maybe like 10 inches different for your hip. But since sometimes if you are curvy, your portions are a little more exaggerated, you want to make sure you have a good measurement for your hips and your waist so that your skirt can feel comfortable. So you measure right here at the fullest part of your hips, and you take that number. The next measurement you want to get is at the waist. And there's 2 ways you can do this measurement for the elastic band skirt. You can use a tape measure and measure at your hip line. Where you want your skirt to fall is definitely at your natural waistline. If you have trouble finding this, the quickest way to do that is to do a little teapot dip. Right here at the bend of the hip is where you want to make your waistline. And you take that measurement down. If you don't want to use a tape measure for your waistband, another good thing that you can do, and a really quick trick as well, is you can measure using the actual elastic band. Now this is really cool because you can do this. You measure as tight as you want it to fit around your waist, and you can cut it there. Make it as tight as you want it to fit around your waist, and then you cut it, you add an extra ½ inch for stitching, and you cut it off. Now the cool thing about this is that if you do this, and then you take that same amount you measured and make sure it goes around your hips comfortably, then you're good to go. You know your skirt is going to be great. You know it's going to go up and down your hips fluidly, and it's going to feel wonderful. So that's 2 ways you can get your measurement for your elastic band skirt. Okay? So let's get started with making the skirt. Today we'll be working with 2 types of fabric because I want you guys to really see that you can make this with a woven or a net. So I'm going to be using this Ankara fabric from Zesty Couture Fabrics. I will leave a link below to her Ankara fabric store. She has beautiful fabrics and a beautiful array of prints and patterns and colors. Simply amazing, wonderful customer service. I highly recommend her. I'll leave a link below, which will also give you 10% off if you purchase from her site using my link. Okay, so I'm going to be using this Ankara fabric, and we're going to be doing a maxi skirt with this. This is about 2.5 yards of fabric. I ordered 3 yards from her, but I purposely put a ½ yard aside because I'm thinking about making a clutch or something like that to go with it. So, yeah. Now, for the fabric, the good thing about this type of fabric to make a skirt, a maxi skirt in particular, whether you're going to make a waistband or if you're going to use the method that we're using today with doing the elastic exposed waistband, you can use the panel, if that makes sense, of the fabric, right? It's not going to be too much cutting with this. And this skirt, we're going to just use one seam down the side because it's wide enough for us to do it. We're going to gather the top and just throw a hem in the bottom and be ready to go. Now, I'm probably going to cut off this first row of elephants because I want the skirt to be a good length, which we'll look at the length at the end of the video. I'll probably either cut it here and start the elastic band here, or somewhere along those lines, because I want this skirt to be like a little above the ankle, not too long. So this is going to be our woven version of the skirt. Okay, then I have this fabric right here. It's a knit tiered fabric. I've had this fabric in my stash for I can say in all honesty, and it's probably longer, at least 6 to 7 years. And I have been like, I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I was going to make a dress. I was going to make a skirt. Then I went back and I was going to make something like a cover up for the beach. I made a version of a skirt with the elastic exposed band like this before, using a similar fabric. And this was the skirt. I wore it for a Christmas event, and everybody loved it. So I'm going to use this fabric again, and I am going to put 2 seams in this version of the skirt because this is going to be my fitted. This is, by the way, a knit fabric, two-way stretch fabric. Let me see, maybe is it 4? Not so much this way, but definitely 2-way stretch this way. I would say probably about 10% stretch this way. You probably got about 70% stretch this way. Okay, so I'm going to make a straight version of the skirt this way. It's going to be about Mindy length. And it's going to have seams down both sides just so I can get enough to make it fit. It's going to be a more fitted version of the skirt, but still with the elastic band. My hope with this skirt is we're just going to put the elastic band on, put the seam down both sides, and I'm not even going to hem it because of the way it's made on the bottom. It actually comes to like a finish. So there's even no need for me to put a hem in this. It has a bottom row underneath the tear, but it kind of just curls under. It doesn't fray. I'm going to leave it. It is what it is. I don't feel like hemming it if I don't have to. So let's get into making these skirts. I'm going to cut this fabric so that we can get our elastic band ready. Oh, and let me show you my elastic band cut. This is my elastic band cut. I already cut my piece. And I get my elastic in black basically, but you can buy these in different colors actually, and then that way you can kind of change it up if you want to have a different, you know, styling to the top. Let me show you a few versions of elastic bands. So I got these from LWS Trims, which is a lot of us know in the community, Lynn's website. She sells clappers, she sells elastic, she sells fringe, she sells trimming that you can use down the side of a garment. This is her trimming, but this is a piece of her elastic banding that I bought from her that I'm going to use to make a skirt. I just have to get me some fabric because I particularly want to go with the designer type look with this, and I'm sure you know what designer I'm talking about. And I'm going to try and get me a red fabric to go with this elastic band. But basically, this is another size of an elastic band. I think this one is 2 inches. Let me tell you right now. Or maybe it might be 1 inch. This is just 1 inch. So it depends. Like, I would say if you're going to get this and you're going to just use the inch, then, you know, just make sure you get the most you can out of the band. And it still will look nice, see? If we add our band to it, it's still going to have a nice look. If you can see. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Yeah, that's the band. Okay, so I usually buy this, and as you can see, a large quantity. It was huge when I got it. It was a huge, huge bunch. I actually got this from an estate sale over 15 years ago, and I have been using it ever since. Probably more than 15, maybe 20 years ago. Somebody was getting rid of old stuff and I got it, and I've been using it. It was huge. When I tell you huge, it was huge, and I use it so much. So you want to get the 3-inch wide if you want that look. I like the 3-inch look, so that's why I got it. Kind of looks like this. That's the 3-inch look. You can see it's like that wide band look. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using for the 2 skirts today, because they both have like a foundation of black to it. This will match both of them. Okay, so I already measured out my piece. I'm going to measure out another piece for my other skirt, and we're going to put the skirts together, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, and you're going to see how quick and easy it is to make this skirt. And I'm telling you, it is a lifesaver. It has been times when I have been in a crunch and I really had to get stuff done, and I had to be somewhere and I needed something quick, fast, in a hurry, and this skirt was my go-to. So I'm going to put this fabric out, and I'm going to cut off the excess that we're not using today, and we're going to put these skirts together, and then I'm going to show you what they look like finished. Fabrics together and ready to go, and add our elastic bands. Remember, with our maxi skirt, we're just going to put 1 seam down the side. The first step to making the maxi is putting a seam down the side, and then we're going to gather. We're going to put the gathering in for the waist. And you could go ahead and hem your bottom. For the knit skirt, tiered skirt, we're going to put seams down both sides. And then, remember, we're not doing the bottom, but if you had a fabric that needed to be hemmed on the bottom, now's the time to hem the bottom of your skirt. And then we're going to add our elastic band to both of these skirts. So I'm going to get started with getting these together so that we can add our elastic bands now. When you get started, we want to line it up. And we're going to clip it together down the sides. Now we have our sides clipped together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a seam down this side and down the other side. Now we have both of our sides completed, and now's the fun part and the interesting part. We're going to prepare our elastic. So I have cut my elastic for a 31 comfort on my waist, 31 inches. So what I also have done is I measured 1 inch extra and a quarter. So this is going to be my waistband. The 31 is what I measured for it to sit comfortably on my waist, not too much pulling, not looking too stretched out, was 31. Then after that, I measured an extra inch and a quarter. What we're going to do with that inch and a quarter is we're going to turn it over onto this piece, and then we're going to pin it in place. Now, before pinning it in place, there's different things that you can do to your elastic. So you can go here and you can do a zigzag on the end just so that you can kind of like close off that elastic from fraying. Or you can, you know, see how it's doing this fray piece where it's hanging off. You can do that. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to zigzag my elastic down. Now, there's different ways that you can overlap the elastic to finish it. You can do a straight stitch. You can do a zigzag stitch. Some people do a box stitch. Some people do an X stitch. I am going to do zigzag on this edge, flip it over. I'm going to do zigzag on this edge, and then I'm going to do the cross. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? Okay, as you can see, we have our zigzag on both sides. Now I'm going to do X in the middle. And that's just really just to make it look decorative and make it look extra cute. Because remember, your elastic band is going to be exposed. It's going to be part of your look that you want to show off. So I'm going to just do an X down the middle. Now is a good time, if you want to just go ahead and prepare your other elastic band that we're going to use for our maxi skirt. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So if you happen to make this skirt and you're making more than one at a time, you can go ahead and just finish your other one. I also, if you want to, you can always do like a stitch here. You don't have to. I feel like if you do the X, it's pretty secure. But if you're not going to do the X, I would say do your zigzag on both ends to finish it off, and then just do a stitch, straight stitch on the bottom, straight stitch on the top. Or you can do your zigzag completely around it and make a box. That would probably be better because when you're working with stretch, zigzag is better because it moves with it. So I would do a zigzag box all around it. But this is my band. I'm going to go ahead and do my other elastic band now. And then I'm going to show you how to attach it to the top of your skirt. Let's go. Okay, so I am back. I finished it and I have 2 completed waistbands now. As you can see, the waistbands are both the same on both sides. So you can basically, once you secure your waistbands properly like this, you can use either side to attach it to your garment. Okay, of course, unless you have a elastic that has something decorative on it, then you may have to do it differently. I have used decorative elastic in the past where one side would have a design, the other side doesn't have a design, or you can see the detailing of the design on the opposite side, so you don't want to use that side. So you choose the side that works best for you. Of course, when you're doing this process, if you know that you have a one-sided elastic where the other side, your design is not on it, then you want to make sure that you make a clean finish and that this side looks pristine the way that you want it to look. Because remember, as I said several times, this band is going to be exposed and it's going to be part of the flow and the look of your garment. Now, let's get started with the next step. And I think the next step we're going to do, only because I'm making 2 skirts, is I'm going to work on my woven fabric, just so that once we start adding the waistbands to it, we can wrap the skirts up. So since we have our other skirt already sewn with the seams on the side, let's throw the seam in the side of our other skirt, hem it up, and gather the top. And then the last thing we'll do is just add the elastic to both and we'll be done. So I'm going to go grab the other skirt so we can work on that one now. Now that we have our side clipped, we're going to put a seam down the side. Also, when you're working with this fabric, if you have a fabric that doesn't have a finish on it, we're not doing this with the other skirt because we already agreed we want to leave that with like a raw look to it. So we're not hemming the bottom of that. And we're also not going to hem the top of it just because of the ruffling in it. We're going to just leave it as is. Now with this woven skirt, it's different. We're going to do, let's do a 1/4 inch once and then turn it over again. So you're going to do a 1/2 inch turn down, but what we're doing is we're going to turn it down a 1/4 inch and then turn it down again. Okay, now if it's easier for you, you can always turn this down and then go to your iron and you can press all the way around it so that it stays in place. If you're okay with eyeballing it, that's fine. If you want to do a deeper seam trim around the edge or a finish around the top edge, you can do a 1/2 inch. You can do 5/8 of an inch. The point is you want to finish the top of this off. So I'm doing a 1/4 inch on the top and I'm doing a 1/4 inch hem in the bottom because I want my skirt to be long and I don't want to take that much from the fabric or the design. So we're going to do a seam down the side. We're going to finish off the top after we do our seam, and we're going to do a 1/4 well, it's going to be a 1/2. We're going to turn it down twice, a 1/4 inch to make a hem on the top. And then we're going to do the bottom and finish that off with, let's see. Let's do a 1/2 inch twice on the bottom. Okay, guys, we have our side clipped up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put finish on the top of our skirt. We're going to use a 1/4 inch and we're going to turn it down twice. When I say turn it down twice, I mean this. We're going to turn it down and then we're going to turn it down again and then we're going to stitch it. If you feel like it may be difficult for you to keep this even, you can clip it, or you can go to your machine and you can do a hard press just so it stays bent in that position that you want it in. We're also going to do this same process on the bottom to make our hem. This is going to complete our finish for the top of our skirt, and then we're going to do this on the bottom to complete our finish for the bottom of our skirt. So we're going to do that now. If you're okay with eyeballing it, eyeball it. If you want to make sure, again, for accuracy, you can always use your clips around the top of it to hold it in place, all the way around the top. Or you can go to your iron and do a hard press to make sure it stays folded down like that and stays in place. So let's do that now. We're going to finish our top. We're going to finish our bottom. We're going to put a seam down our side. So now we have our top finish. We have our side seam done. And we have our bottom hemmed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do our gathering. Now, there's multiple ways you can gather a skirt. You can always use the old school method of just getting a threaded needle and you just basically thread your needle and you just do your gather stitch around the top. Or you can use your basting stitch on your machine. And if you use that, they suggest you do 2 rows close together and then you just pull them. Another method that someone told me about is you can use a long zigzag stitch and you can use a piece of yarn, a piece of fine yarn, even dental floss. And what you do is you zigzag over it. Sounds funny, but it actually works. You zigzag over it and then you use that to pull on both ends and do your gathering. I am going to do a base stitch to do mine. I'm going to do a base stitch above the stitch I just did and below the stitch that I just did to finish my hem. And then we're going to pull it. Okay, so let's do that now. And then we could start adding our elastic band. So I'm going to do the base stitch again on top, on the bottom, so that we can pull and gather our skirt. We have our basting stitching and we're going to start pulling to make our gather. Okay, as you can see, we have a good amount of gathers around the top. When you're gathering your skirt, when you're going to use a woven, the most important thing is that if you feel comfortable just making sure that you gather enough to fit around your hips, then that's fine. Because you got to remember, you're going to stretch your elastic to fit this. So it's okay if it's not perfect, but you do want it to be gathered enough that you can get in and out of the skirt. I left enough so that it can go over my hips, but then when we put it to the elastic, it's going to get smaller, if that makes sense. You'll see probably what I mean once we attach it. So with that being said, I'm going to just tie off my side over here with the strings I have. So it doesn't move while we're attaching it to our elastic band. So I'm just going to tie this off. And you're going to have to stretch your elastic to fit this band, which I will show you in a minute. So I'm just going to tie off this end. like that, like so. Now, what we want to do with this and how we're going to proceed is, in order to attach it to our elastic, we want 4 points to work from. So we're going to start with this side of the skirt. And we are going to put a pin there. Because now we're going to work on attaching our waistband. So we're going to go to the side of our skirt and we're going to put a pin in it to know that's our side. We're going to go to the opposite side, whether you fold it in half or you measure. The easiest way is just to fold it in half. And we're going to put another pin in that side because that's going to be marked as our other side. Now we want to find our center, front, and back. Or, you know, if you're not going to make your seam go down the back, if you're going to make your seam go down the side, just remember when you're only putting one seam, where do you want your back and your front to be? I'm going to use a side seam. So I'm not going to have my seam go down the back. So, you know what? For the purpose of this video, just to help you guys get a sense of what's going on so you can understand better, we're going to use the back because it'll be an easier way for us to line up our midpoint. So we have our sides. Now the easiest way to find our front and back is just to do another fold. Like so. So we have side, side. And these pins are very good, by the way, to use as markers. Because you can have them kind of stick up out of your fabric. So, and they have cute ones with little designs and stuff on it and stuff like that. So you have your sides, and then you're going to go to here because this is going to be our front and back. And you're going to put a pin on this side. And then we're going to put a pin on this side. And that is going to be our 4 points that we're going to work from to attach our elastic, right? How do we match it to our elastic with the 4 points? We're going to do the same thing with our elastic, and I already did it in my elastic. The best way to start to find your marks in your elastic is go to your back piece where you did this, dead center, add your first marker, right? This is a little crooked, yeah. Add your first marker pin there. Then go to the opposite side. Again, easy. Go to the opposite side. And we're going to put another pin. Boom. So now you got 1, 2. Open that up. Or you don't even have to open it. Fold it again and find your other 2 points. 1 and 2. So now you have 1, 2. And you have these 2 over here. So now you have all 4 points together. Now, you want to decide what's going to be the back of your skirt. If you want a side seam, for the other skirt, it's easy because the other skirt has 2 seams down the side. So you know this is going to be our back, this is going to be our sides. But since we have a side seam, it's really just a preference at this point. So if you want your side seam, if you want a side seam for your skirt, then you just make sure that you line these up as so with your side seam and then your back, right? If you want a back seam, then you're going to add this up with your back. It's just a preference, like I said. It's up to you and it's your preference. Now, the way that we do this band, it's a standing up band, meaning we can do this from the wrong side. I think it's always best to do it from the wrong side because you can see what you're working with better. You can guide and direct your elastic easier. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, guys, now to attach our elastic band. So we have our 4 points that we marked on the top of our skirt. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I'm going to go with the back seam for today. I usually do a side seam. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, it's a preference. It's up to you what you want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the back seam. I'm going to remove my pin because we have a pin in our elastic. Now, if you want to and you're not good with this, it's your first time doing it, a wonderful way to do this is you can use your ruler. You can use a marking tool such as this, and you can pretty much mark. We're going to do a 1/2 inch lineup with the band of the skirt to the elastic. So if you go here, we know that an inch is about that much, right? If we're measuring with our ruler, we see a 1/2 inch is here. I already marked it, and as you can see, that's a 1/2 inch. You can do this all the way around the band so that you can keep an eye on it and you can see what you're doing. So especially if this is your first time. I've made this skirt so many times that I usually just eyeball it at this point. A trick, or I don't know if you know, or just, I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but something that my grandma taught me. Thank you, Grandma. Is your finger is about 1 inch. So if you look at the ruler and you look at the inch mark, your finger is about 1 inch. So sometimes I just use my finger to kind of judge. Okay, that's a 1/2 inch. So just something in case you never knew. Your finger is about 1 inch. I don't know why I felt the need to share that, but hopefully it made a difference in somebody's world. Now, let's get to attaching our elastic band. So we're going to go to our middle point. We know it's the back because that's where the seam is. We're going to get our middle point of our elastic, like we said, and we are going to pin it here. We're not going to pin it all the way around. Why not? Because we're going to be pulling our elastic. So we just want to pin our midpoint halfway up, a 1/2 inch up. Okay, now we're going to go to our next midpoint, a 1/2 inch up again. We're going to remove, be careful that you don't lose your spot, right? Just to see, okay, we're going to line it up with our pin, 1/2 inch. If it's easier for you, whichever way is easier, whichever pin is easier for you to move. Also, what you can do, if it makes sense for you, is you can measure a 1/2 inch up at each point. Meaning, you can come to this point and say, okay, I'm here. Let me mark a 1/2 inch up right here. And then you can go to your other point, 1/2 inch. That way, when you get to each point, it's easier for you to find the 1/2 inch. Then we're going to go here. Again, we're going to do a 1/2 inch. And just mark it around your pin. I want to make it darker so that you can see. See? So you can kind of see, okay, I'm going to put this here. When you go here, you do this darker because I want you guys to see. You're going to put it there. You know, you're going to line it up to that line and so forth. Then when you come here, my pencil is falling apart because I don't use it that much. I use my other pieces. And then you're going to know that you're going to line it up here. So we're going to our next point, which is here. We know we're lining it up here, so you can remove your pin, right? And you know that you're going to go here with this. We're going up a 1/2 inch. We're going to pin it. Going to our next point, right? It's good that you use your points and your marks that you have already in place. It's okay. Oh, it's a gap. It's fine, right? Remember, because we're going to pull this to make it ease and match and meet up, right? So then we're going to go to our next point. We have our marked right here, so we can remove our pin. We're going a 1/2 inch up again over here. Line it up. And we are going to pin. Then we're going to go to our last point. Whew. Okay. Going to get this skirt together. We're going to line it up. Remove the pin. Put this pin in place. And now we have all 4 points in place. Let's attach our elastic band. looks like this on the inside. You see your gathered skirt, your gathered band around on the inside. You can now take this string out if you want to, because you have your attached. It's fine to take it out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a zigzag over this edge to finish it. But if we flip our skirt over, we now have a waistband on our skirt with gathers. And of course, you know, I'm going to take pictures to show you how nice this looks. And, you know, style it up a little bit and show you. And we're going to finish our other skirt as well. Trim off any extra strings that you may have. And see, this is done. This baby is done. We have our maxi skirt together. She is done. She is complete. She is ready to go. She is ready to take pics, which I will be doing, of course, at the end of this, so I can show you guys what it looks like. But now we're going to do our waistband for this skirt. Okay, this one is just a little more complicated because all this fluff in the way, but it's the same process. We have our 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to find our 4 points again on our elastic. So we have 1, right? Go to the opposite side. Another one. Oops, that pen is bent. Another one. You want to make sure when you find your 4 points, you're not like grabbing anything extra, because you just want to get that point. Okay? And then again, you can either go like this. You could either go like this and find the other 2 points, or you can fold it in half. So we're going to go like this. Again, these two are together, so we know that this one, just don't let go of this side while you're fixing that side. So we know this is a point, and our final point is right here. Just like we did with our last skirt, we're going to figure out. Now, remember, oops, see, this is what I was saying. Don't do it like that. Like, you don't want to put it together and have too much. You want to have it flat on the elastic, like that. Okay. So again, we're going to do before. We're going to find our back. And since this skirt has 2 seams down the side, if you're doing a skirt with 2 seams down the side, then your back either has to be here or here. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Depending on what kind of fabric you have, you may have a fabric where you can clearly tell these are the sides, this is the back, this is the front. On this fabric, you just know where the 2 sides are. So pick a side to be your front, right? Pick a side to be your back. And we're going to do the same process again. If you want to use, let me see if I have some chalk. Oh, I do. Good. If you want to do the same process, you measure a 1/2 inch up. I'm going to eyeball it with my finger. And you're just going to mark right by your pin at your 4 points. I'm going to measure up 1/2 inch. My 4 points, measure up 1/2 inch. And this, the good thing is the chalk just wipes right off. Measure up 1/2 inch. Add our pins. Okay. See, I like the chalk better than the pencil. The Taylor chalk pieces that come like this, I like them way better than the pencils, because I feel like the pencils, after a while, they just get, I guess for lack of a better word, rotten. So you can't use them anymore. Okay, so we have our pieces. We're going to pick a side. I'm going to use this side as my back piece, and I'm going to line it up with my back, with my piece, right? Remember, the elastic is going on the outside of your garment. So it's always good, in my opinion, to work from the wrong side of your garment, the right side of your, the wrong side of your garment, the right side of your elastic. To me, it's just easier. Okay, so this is going to be right here. We're going to be lining up a 1/2 inch down. Yeah, from the inside though. So this is on the wrong side. Oh, don't come out, pin. Not that it matters if the pin comes out on the sides, because you know the sides are the sides because of the seam. Okay, so this is your elastic. This is your right side. Your garment is on the wrong side, but trust me, this is the easiest way for you to work with this and attach it. So you're gonna go here on the inside of your fabric, right side of your fabric, outside, a 1/2 inch, line it up, put your pin here. Ow, don't pin your finger. There you go, and you could always pull your other pin out, just like we did before on the other one. Just pull your pin out. Ouch, there you go. Then we're gonna go to our next point. We're gonna go a 1/2 inch down. We could remove the pin from one or the other because you can't have them both there. And you're gonna go a 1/2 inch down. And then we're gonna put our pin in place here on the side. Okay, turn it around. We have our next point. We could always move a pin. Take this out, put this in. Ow, don't stick my finger. Okay. Then we're going to do our last side. Now, if you want to turn it on the right side, you can. I just feel like it's easier for me. It doesn't really make a difference. As long as you know that your elastic is going on top of the outside. Your elastic is going on the outside of the right side of your skirt. Okay? The right side of your skirt, the elastic is going to overlap on top of that, and you're going down a 1/2 inch. Okay? Take that pin, put it in place. You can take this pin in the back out because you don't want to be sewing over pins. All right. So, ooh, no. Thank God that fell out of the side. So just make sure your pins is in before, okay? So we know this is the 1/2 mark right here because that was marked in the middle. And just make sure your pins is in before you move. Okay. So, again, we have our 4 marks. We're going to pull and stretch again to get the elastic in place. This isn't gathered, so it's easier to pull this. With the gather, we had to gather at first just so we could get everything in. But this is going to be, see, a pull. Okay? Let's attach this. I'm going to show you the little, when I'm done, then I'm going to go take some pics so you can see how beautiful these skirts are. Again, the quickest skirt you will ever make. Because once you cut your fabric, fix your waistband, all you got to do is attach it and go. Sometimes I don't even finish my skirt with a finish on the bottom because sometimes depending on the type of fabric, like with this one, I like the way it looks. I don't even have to put a hem in it. So anyway, let me finish this up so I can show it to you because I'm excited. Okay, guys, that's it. We got 2 skirts done, 2 finished. We have this one that's more of a fitted skirt. And you know what? Believe it or not, I think this one is longer than I anticipated. And I didn't cut it because I want you guys to see it and say, oh, she said it was a Mindy. I didn't cut it because I kind of like, I'm feeling the length of the skirt. And I love the ruffles, the drama. So I don't want to cut it. And this is our maxi. So let's try these on and let's see what they look like. But that's it. They're done. Like I said, inside you'll see where it is gathered. And you have your waistband on, and yeah, these babies are ready to style. Let's go to the studio. So I finished one of the skirts, and here it is, just so you can see it. It's so beautiful outside, so I decided to come outside today. And here it is. Isn't it beautiful? It's the maxi. So this is the other skirt. As you can see, it's came out midi length, but it looks good.